Hey everybody, this is Justin Davis. Merry Christmas to all of you and your friends and family. This is the full video trip of the trip that me, my mother, and my sister took with Prophet Peter Kumar and the End Time Forerunners Ministry and the 13 of us that went to Jordan, Israel, Palestine, and Egypt back in 2019 from April 21st to May the 5th of 2019. This is mainly a present for my mother, for my sister, for my father, for my aunt, my dad's sister, for Prophet Peter Kumar, for his wife Gita Kumar, for the people that we went on that trip with, for the End Time Forerunners Ministry, to the people outside that ministry that's been asking about the trip and been wanting to see it. This is a present for all of you that I've been working on off and on from 2019 until I want to say that second week of October after Hamas did what they did. At that second week of October, I've been working on this, whatever I had to do, which was basically about a remaining 80% of the work that still had to be done. That's when I said, okay, let's go ahead and get this ball going. Lord, help me get this going. And he's been able to help me finish the entire project and get it done before Christmas. Whilst I was still working a full-time job, whilst I was helping 2 church ministries, whilst I was doing other things, whilst I was sick. I've been sick since Tuesday of last week, and God has still kept me to get this project out. So to all of my loved ones and to all the people watching, this is for all of you. So that's been long overdue. Since 2019, major apologies for that. All I can say is life got in the way. A lot of things has happened since 2019, but to God be the glory. He saw me through getting this project done. Thank God it is finally done. And it's a lot of things have gotten in the way in the process of getting this done, but I'm glad we're finally able to get it done. A lot of things has happened since 2019. Many of you already know what happened in 2020, and then other things has happened in my life personally and professionally and all types of other stuff along the way. But God encouraged me within the last few months to buckle down and get this done, and I'm glad he helped see me through, and I'm glad we were able to get this out. So I'm just gonna give some intel on the video's production and also the tips, pros, and cons of the trip. So we traveled from April 21st to May the 5th for over 2 weeks. Me, my mother, and my sister with Prophet Peter Kumar and his ministry. There was about 13 of us. And me and my family, we made it back home on May the 8th, 2019. So we were gone for pretty much 3 weeks, and overall, it was a fantastic experience for us. It was a godly experience for us. We never traveled overseas before until that time, so it was really incredible, the things that we went through. The videos and the pictures that I took of the entire trip was done on a 32 gigabyte iPhone 4S, believe it or not. I still have it. I don't use it anymore. I upgraded to an iPhone 12 Pro in early 2022, which is what I'm recording on right now. But yes, I worked that iPhone 4S overseas, and it did its job. It was the only camera I had at the time, and we made it do what it had to do. I had to use also my portable phone charger with it, and it was with me everywhere I went. And near the end of the day, when we got back to whichever hotel we were staying at for the day, I had to transfer those videos and photos to my laptop and my external hard drive before deleting them from my phone so I could do the picture taking and video recordings all over again the next day at whichever next locations we were going to. Pardon me if I sound a little rough. The devil really has been fighting to keep these videos from coming out. The devil really tried hard to keep these videos from coming out because I work a full-time job. It's a great job, one of the best jobs I ever had, but it takes up a lot of my time. I'm helping 2 church ministries out. And for the last almost week, I've been dealing with strep throat. And that's part of the reason why I sound a little off right now, in case y'all hear it. I'm doing much better. It hit me hard Tuesday. I've been on antibiotics since Wednesday, but I'm feeling better, and I'm gonna get these videos out because tomorrow is Christmas, so I'm gonna do what I gotta do. On October the 7th, when Hamas did what they did to Israel, it was around that time that God really started speaking to me and telling me, Justin, you need to do this. You need to get these videos out. And ever since, I want to say that second week of October, that's when I really buckled down on getting this done. I've been working on these videos every day since the second week of October. And there was so much that had to be done. I've been working on the project off and on since 2019, but it wasn't until that second week of October this year in 2023 that I just said, nah, no matter what's going on in my life, personally, professionally, this got to be done. This has to be done. God helped see me through. Jesus helped me see it through. The Holy Spirit helped me see it through. No one knew that I was doing this. This is basically a present for all of you. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew about this except for God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And I've been working on this every day since October, probably the 9th. Making these videos was not easy during the editing process. Converting these videos to work in my movie editing program took well over a week to do. Like every hour of those days during that week was involved with just converting the videos to work in my movie editing program. The main reason why I had issues getting this video out for years is because at the times I didn't have a powerful enough converter at a decent price that I could afford to convert those videos to work in my movie editing program. But there was a program that came out earlier this year that I was able to get, that I could afford, that was able to allow me to convert those videos. And type of job I had, my professional job, I was able to have my computer just at full go while I was working and while I was at home and while I was sleeping. All I was doing just converting for almost a whole week, just converting the videos. This is over 600 gigabytes of videos that I recorded and pictures, combined. The pictures and the videos was over 600 gigabytes. So I had to convert all that. So then I had well over another 600 gigabytes to use. And even after I converted all the videos, I still had to do the editing process. So there were many parts of those videos that I had to watch almost entirely just to make sure that, okay, this part can stay in, this part cannot stay in, or this part can be heard, this part cannot be heard. I had to do all that. So from that second week of October, going all the way until I finished it, I finished the editing process this past Thursday. That was December 21st. I was still sick with strep throat, but I was still working on it. And I got the editing process done. I had to convert the videos. I had to convert the videos to work in a movie editing program. I had to do the editing process, edit the videos, then render out those videos, then convert them again into smaller file sizes while keeping the same quality, then upload them to YouTube, then wait for them to process through. And then I had to title them and link them up. And now I'm going through adding the timestamps to them. So there was a lot of work involved getting these videos out. I apologize again that I wasn't able to get these videos out in time back in like 2019. A lot has happened since then, as I've already mentioned. And thank you all for your patience, those of you who are interested in watching. And it's about 28 videos in total of the entire trip. I think the longest video of the bunch was like an hour and 15, 16 minutes, but I tried to break them up in different episodes instead of mixing up in huge videos just for the sake of time and for easier convenience for the people who want to watch. And if they want to watch particular locations or videos. They already know which ones to click on, and I'm adding the timestamps so that they'll know, okay, I don't want to watch this part, but I want to watch this part. So I'm still working on timestamps. I probably won't get done adding all the timestamps to the videos until the end of the year, maybe even into January 2024. But I am working on that, and you can always use the auto scroller on the YouTube video so that you can see what is at that time so that you can move forward to go wherever it is that you need to go. So I just got done with all of that now. So right now I feel a great sense of relief that it's finally done. Something that took me almost 5 years to work on. I'm glad that I was finally able to get it out right now. I want people to see these videos right now, especially during this time, because after what's happened because of Hamas, the news and social media and things I'm seeing happening around the world, is just a lot of people are really going out of their ways to portray the negative about the current situation. And it is a bad situation. It's a terrible situation. Many people have lost their lives, and they're still losing their lives right now to this day, and being persecuted and tortured and abused. It's horrible all around. And until all sides of the equations repents and reconciles to Jesus Christ, there's always going to be war. There's always going to be conflict. But I want to put these videos out there for the people who want to see what it's like over in Jordan, over in Israel, over in Palestine, and over in Egypt. There's so many locations we went to. I think the only place we didn't get a chance to go to was the tomb where Jesus was buried before he was resurrected from the dead. That's the only location we weren't able to go to of significance. We went everywhere else, but unfortunately we were able to go to that one. That one you have to reserve well in advance before you even go down there. You can't just, okay, we want to go to the tomb of Jesus today. You got to put that in reservation way ahead of time. And we didn't know that at the time. If I do get the opportunity to go back to Israel, I most definitely will be putting reservations to go there above anything else. Back in May of this year, my aunt, one of my dad's sisters, she told us that she was going to be going to Israel and I think also Jordan and Palestine, and in October. And we didn't foresee what was going to happen. And before she was about to get on to go with her team over there, that's when Hamas popped off. So she got notified at the right time to not go. I'd rather her get that notification before what happened than after. But this is also for my aunt as well. Documenting the trip was not easy on camera, not just with everything I had to do with managing the videos, but having that phone out and about everywhere we went did cause some of the people overseas to harass and threaten, even though I was focused on the sites and not on them, except for certain events. But even then, they were public events, so it wasn't like, hey, I'm solely focused on you. But there are some people who didn't mind. There are some people that knew this, they knew the score. They knew what was going on. They knew, okay, this is an event that we're having, and the people going to have their phone out. But you had some individuals that just wanted to be, I'm just going to say it, demonic, but it's whatever. These videos have been made, pictures was taken, and we got this going. And God kept me too. He kept all of us. He kept all of us. Now, there are some parts of the trip that I had to censor and not show for many reasons. Some recordings just dragged the entire trip down. Some conversations that us on the team had with each other and with the inhabitants was personal and private. Some locations we went to was personal and private and off limits to be recorded. And there were certain events and scenes that was just not appropriate to show for various reasons. The entire trip was mostly biblical locations and architectures that we went to and saw, and the histories of them as well. But there were also many non-biblical locations and architectures that we saw and went to also, along with seeing many different people of different ethnicities and cultures and languages and their histories. It was well over 30 hours of footage, but altogether the 28 videos that I now have uploaded combined are 20 hours worth of footage. It's all raw. No added music, no special effects or transitions, no added voiceovers, just raw footage. I'll say about almost half of the videos are recordings of the sceneries during tour narrations with our tour guides, since what the guides had to say did give more insight into what we were seeing and their biblical histories and non-biblical histories. Plus, I want everyone who has never been to Jordan, never been to Israel, never been to Palestine, never been to Egypt, to feel like they are actually there to see what we saw whilst we were on the buses, on the planes, on the ships, the cars, the air trams, and on foot, and on animals. I want you to feel like you're actually there at these locations. I want you to feel like you're actually there at these locations. Before COVID, before Hamas, before a potential World War III, I want y'all to see how these locations was back in 2019. I want you to see how these locations look and were and how the people were back in 2019. And so all these reasons and more are the reasons why this took so long. I apologize it took so long, but I'm by myself. I worked on this by myself. There was no money involved in making this. I'm not trying to make money putting these videos out. These are all for people to watch free. I'm not charging anybody for any of this. This is for anybody to watch anywhere on the web. And I'm in the process right now of adding the timestamps to the videos so that you'll know what parts of the individual videos has what, but I have titled each of the 28 videos with the main locations that we went to in the videos. So with no further ado, I'll go ahead and get into the tips, the pros and the cons of going on the trip, since I want people to know what to expect if they do get the opportunity to travel to these locations down the road. Not anytime soon due to Hamas, but if Jesus does not come back before things do settle down and entry is allowed and things are in place so that it's safe to travel to those locations again, these tips, pros, and cons will help you. Much of what I have to say deals with traveling to any location internationally. This is all coming from someone born and raised in South Carolina in North America and has only traveled internationally once in his lifetime. I was 32 at the time when I traveled overseas to these nations back in 2019. What I have to say may and will potentially apply to you if you're not a U.S. citizen. We saw a lot of people from all over the world at these locations that came to visit, just like we did. There's more to do than just getting your passport and having common sense. It's pretty much like traveling to a whole new realm. The things that you do and how you do it where you live are not the same as how it is when you're over in those locations. There are many things you have to prepare for and expect, for better and for worse. Better safe than sorry. Better to have it, not need it, than to need it, not have it. Now, these tips, pros, and cons are in no order of importance. They're all in random order. So let's get started. There's no fried foods except in Egypt. No pork except in Egypt. The airlines help are nasty, but not all the time. Don't bring much stuff with you that are easily replaceable in the next area that you're going to. Some planes and some buses and some cars have AC and USB chargers. You have to prepare for the different time zones in these locations. You can't control when or what you eat most of the time. Do get visas. Don't just get your passport, also get visas. Spend the money on the visa. And if you are planning on going to any Islamic territories, when you have your passport and visa, when you go to Israel, don't let them stamp on your passport or visa. But there's another document that Israel can stamp on to show that you didn't make it there. Because if Israel stamps on your passport or visa, those Islamic nations will not let you go in, period. They just won't let you go in. Do not dress like you're the richest person on the planet, since the inhabitants can already tell who's native and who's not by just skin complexion alone and how you talk. And they will bother you even if you're dressed from Goodwill. And showboating is just going to get you threatened. Showboating is just going to get you threatened and harassed. Do not dress provocatively. Please don't dress like you are going to a strip club. Don't do that. The more people on a trip, the less time you'll have with your spiritual leaders. So prepare for that. Many things you'll pay for does not have taxes. Know the visa rules for some countries, and some countries don't need a visa. Just goes back to what I said about the Israel thing. Take no water on the plane with you unless you buy it after being checked in through security to board the plane. Always plan for the unexpected. It never hurts to do that. Learn how to fight is optional. I pray that you're never in a situation where you have to defend yourself and the people around you. But it is, I recommend that this is optional, learning how to fight. Basically, throw hands if you need to. Don't bring any weapons with you. The buses, planes won't let you carry anything that's involving with a weapon over there. Just know that these are locations where anything can happen. And it's best to not even be in those locations at the time, those places at the time that they happen. And if you do see anything that seems like things might trigger or might start off, might pop off, get out of there. Always carry a pen with you and something to write on. Get a plane seat that allows you to stretch out your legs on very long flights. Our trip, we went from South Carolina on April 21st, 2019. We left South Carolina. Then we flew from South Carolina to Georgia. Then we flew from Georgia to New York. When we made it to New York, we took the Royal Jordanian airline. That trip was about, I want to say 13-hour flight, but I think it was 10 hours. I think it was a 10-hour flight, but that was a very, very long flight flying all the way over there. My legs has never hurt as much as they did by the time we made to Jordan. So just stretch your legs out. When you're sleeping, of course, you got to do what you got to do. But while you're there, don't just sit down and be on your phone or your laptop or whatever. You got to get up and move around. Now, our plane was packed. It was packed. You could hardly move around at all, but still get up and move around. Get some blood going in your body and especially in your legs. Do it even when you're over there. Don't just sit down all day. Walk around when you're in those locations. Walk, get up and walk and exercise. Free food on international flights do vary in quality, so expect that. There's not much seasoning on the foods you're going to eat in Jordan, Israel, and Palestine, but they most definitely is in Egypt. Ask for ice. They will not give you ice up front like we do over here in America. I know you ask for a cup of water, they already going to put ice in it. You ask for some soda or some juice, they already going to put ice in it. But ice is optional over there. It's hard to get ice over there. Take only what you're willing to carry at almost all times. Your pouch, passport. And also stay hydrated. Drink at least 4 bottles of water a day. You're probably going to drink more than 4 bottles of water a day. It is mandatory to use payment if you want to use the restrooms. Outside of the hotels, 99% of the time. Outside of hotels, it's mandatory to pay to use the restrooms. You want to use toilet paper, it's $1. Sometimes it was $2 to use toilet paper. I can't make this stuff up, y'all. Lots of walking. You're going to do a whole lot of walking. You're going to do a whole lot of walking. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. You're going to do a whole lot of walking. Have some decent walking shoes. Do not dress up in high heels. Do not dress up in any shoes that feel uncomfortable. And you're walking up all these landscapes that have virtually no shape whatsoever. Lots of inclines, lots of hills, lots of rocks, lots of dirt, lots of sand. You're going to be traveling through a lot of things that are not properly paved. So expect that. And you're also going to be around a lot of people. It's very crowded in many of the locations you're going to. So expect that too. There are pushy hustlers that has an answer for every decline that you got and will not tell you the price for an item, for a picture, or for a service until after it is done. don't deal with these people. Don't even talk to them. They come up to you, you just say you're not interested, and you keep it moving, ignore them, avoid them. Keep your eye on them too. But if you're going to a particular location and you can tell by the atmosphere that there's some hustlers in there, best not even just be in that building, in that store. Just be outside if you can and wait till everybody else is done to get out of there. If you can afford security, get it. And make sure that they speak both your language and the language of whatever is the main language or location that you're going to. We did have translators at some of the locations, but not many of them. And we had security too, as well in some of the locations, but not many of them. Get used to asking a international service person a question, and in the middle of your conversation, another international service person will butt into the conversation, and the person who was talking to you will talk to the other person and finish their entire conversation before talking back to you. Get used to that. Do not be offended. It's very easy to be offended, but remember where you're at. Remember where you're at. Do not start anything. There are pickpockets, and many of them are children. Be very careful with that. When you're in crowded locations, keep everything on you. Everything that is your personal belongings, possessions, keep them on you. Keep them on you. And when you're walking through many locations where there's a lot of people and there's a lot of stuff going on, that's when you really need to make sure that you are keeping your eyes open. And there are going to be some kids who will come up to you saying, hey, I'm starving, or I need this. There are going to be some people pretending to be parents, and even some parents doing the exact same thing. They need money. If you want to give out of charity from your heart, it's optional for you to do so, but I recommend not doing it because it's a hustle for them. They're living day to day. They need Jesus. They don't need money, they need Jesus more than anything else, and they don't want him. It's for Jordan, it's for Israel, it's for Palestine, it's for Egypt. Many of those locations, they don't want Jesus. They don't want Jesus. They want everything else, but they don't want him. Just be mindful of the type of people that you're going to encounter on this trip. Pray for them, love them, respect them, but just be aware. People will rush you during times when you don't want to be rushed. Expect that. For some guides, tour guides you're going to be going with, the tips are mandatory. They're not optional. If you're in North America and you go to a restaurant, fast food restaurant, sit down restaurant, doesn't matter. Tips are optional. You can give a tip. If that person did a great service, bless them with a tip. Over there, many of the tour guides you're going to expect your tips. They expect them. It's mandatory. And these tips are not small. They're large. Not triple digit range, but in the 2-digit range. So if you're going with a team of people, all y'all got to chip in some money. And it's going to happen more than once if you're going to many locations, so expect that. My luggage was lost. Now, the luggage that was lost was just some clothes. So it wasn't a big deal. It was some clothes and my plug converter, which is, I'm going to get into my plug converter stuff down the road with the tips. But expect some luggage to be lost. Anything that's really important to you, keep it with you at all times while you're traveling on the plane. And anything that's disposable, you can keep that under the plane in another luggage. But expect that there might be luggage lost, so you want to pay for insurance. Most definitely. You're traveling to one part of the world to another, you most definitely want to pay for insurance. Bring sunscreen and sunglasses with you. Bring a hat, bring chapstick, small snacks, a big water bottle or a big water canteen. Bring napkins, bring toilet paper, bring toothbrush, bring toothpaste, bring deodorant, soap, floss, book bag, face rags, towels, hiking shoes, plug converters, plug chargers, your laptop, external hard drives, jump drives, memory cards, SD cards, your camera, smartphone, a portable gaming console, earplugs, earbuds, whatever. I mean, bring necessities with you. especially if you're going to be over there for more than a few days, which I expect many people will be watching this video if they do travel to these locations. Turn off your phone services except WhatsApp before traveling overseas. You do not need to have your current phone service. Like if you're with AT&T or T-Mobile, you don't want to use those services while you're over there, because if you do, you're going to be spending a lot of money. Use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a app you can download on your smartphone. Use that to communicate with people. There's no Wi-Fi in the churches that you're going to go to over in Jordan, Israel, Palestine, Egypt. There's no Wi-Fi in the restaurants and in the streets. If there is any Wi-Fi, it's not good. Make travel notes before you leave. Make travel notes with your bank for your debit cards before going overseas, and try not to use any cards if necessary due to international fees. Take lots of dollar bills with you. If you are in North America, don't do what I did by converting the money into Israeli shekels and Jordanian denarii. The people over there, they want the American dollar bill. They want the dollar bill. They want the dollar bill. The dollar bill is worth way more than their own currency. If you give them their own money and they know that you're a foreigner, they're going to look at you like you're just offended them. That's the response that many people will give to you. Now, if you want to bring Royal Jordanian and Israeli shekels, go right ahead and do it if you want to. But really, if you can give $1, go ahead and give $1. It just gives you a easier time going through buying whatever it is you want to buy. We did have dollar bills when we went over there. I did have dollar bills, so I used that at some occasions, but yeah, bring at least, I want to say, if you can bring about, I don't want to say too large of an amount of dollar bills to bring. I would say between 500 to 1,500 American dollars. I'm speaking as an American citizen. I would bring between 500 American dollars to 1,500 American dollars. Just if I was able to do the trip all over again, I would bring that much. Because using the card, them international fees, even with travel notes, still, I would just get in touch with your bank before leaving. If your card winds up missing while you're overseas, turn back on your phone services to cancel your card. Bring 2 phones with you if you can. We had one person on our trip who lost their phone. They had another phone, but if they didn't have another phone, ill. So if you can bring 2 phones with you, bring 2 phones with you. Keep up with your phones everywhere you go. Before you go anywhere, make sure you got your phone, make sure you got your wallet, your purse, all that stuff. Never travel by yourself. Don't go to these locations by yourself. Please do not go by yourself. Go with at least 2 other people, at least 2 other people. Put your passport on your phone. Put it on your phone, have it to where you can pull it up digitally, Visa too. And also take a picture of your passport and Visa. And there's all the more reasons why you want to keep up with your phones if you do this. Because having the actual passport and Visa with you, there's a chance you might lose those 2, God forbid. But you want to always have a backup of your documentation. If a phone is missing and you don't have any other phone, that's why I say go with someone else. Use their phone. You can also use any other phones at the hotels you're going to be staying at. The language barrier is going to be an issue if you want to use the phones at the hotels. Just let you know up front. Use apps alongside WhatsApp. Also use Facebook Messenger. If you don't have Facebook, then just ignore that. But most definitely use WhatsApp. Watch your steps. Watch your steps everywhere that you go. There are going to be many locations, as I already mentioned, that has no shape to them whatsoever, that are rough to go up and go down and go around and go across and over and under. And there's a lot of people around you. There's a lot of things that can go off. So watch your steps everywhere that you go. Don't touch any stray animals. Don't touch them. Don't touch any stray animals. Don't hug without consent, especially males. If an inhabitant, let's say you did something for them that they really appreciate, like praying for them, give them some food, whatever. If they want to give you a hug, have caution, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're being played and there's somebody trying to pickpocket you or doing something else to you while your guard is lowered. So just be cautious about that. If you're going to give hugs or shake hands, do it with consent always. You should do it with consent anyways. You're going to have to deal with some rude inhabitants and some rude tourists as well. There are some inhabitants and there are some tourists who are rude. You'll see them on camera, but expect that. Bring portable chairs and portable fans if you can, that are able to be carried with you. Avoid international phone services. I've already mentioned that, but I just want to reiterate that. The Catholic Church has touched many biblical locations. If you are a Catholic, you are going to be in Wonderland when you are in Jordan, when you're in Israel, when you're in Palestine and Egypt. If you're not a Catholic, you're going to pretty much be going to locations involving Catholic architecture. A lot of tour guides will say things involving Catholicism and Catholic history. I'm a Protestant, so I don't deal with Catholicism at all. I'm a non-denominational Protestant. Nothing against Catholics. It's just that we have different ways of doing things, and many things I saw and how certain people behave is if you're not a Catholic, you'll see it. But if you are a Catholic, it'll be normal to you. Just if you're not a Catholic, you're going to see a lot of things involving Catholicism while you're over in these locations. The Catholic Church has protected and kept a lot of the biblical locations. Many of the biblical locations would not be there right now if not for the Catholic Church, so I give them that. But just be aware that there are many things and things you're going to see and hear involving Catholicism. This next thing is for Americans, but pretty much it can be for anybody. Whatever rights you have at the nation that you're at, like in North America, the rights that we have in North America doesn't matter overseas. Don't think that just because you're an American citizen that you have the right to say and do whatever you want over in these locations. They don't care. Do not start fights for any reason outside of protecting yourself and the people around you. And watch your temper. Watch your temper, because some people will try you. Check your foreign exchange. They'll take dollars for them pretty much, but check your foreign exchange. Any spiritual leaders that are traveling with you are still human and they need prayer. You might see them say and do things that make you think, okay, that was a moment of weakness, but pray for them, comfort them, know that they're human by the end of the day, just like you are. And just be there for them, just like they're there for you. Watch the roads when you're crossing. The roads over there, especially in Jordan, Palestine, and Egypt, they are wow. Like, people just drive any way they want to. I think the last tour guide we had, his name is Mina. We had him in Egypt, and he says, in order to survive as a driver in Egypt, you can't be a driver. You got to be a fighter, and that is so true. You got to be a fighter, because what we have over here in North America when it comes to the laws and protocols we have to follow when we're on the road, nah. So just watch the roads when you're crossing. Your bus drivers, they're going to drive in ways that are going to make you think to yourself, wow. But they're going to get you where you need to go safely. Ours did. But still, get used to crazy driving and parking from bus drivers and people on the roads. People will think that their road is all theirs. It belongs to them. It doesn't belong to anyone else. So get used to that. Your clothes size and shoe sizes are different over there. Whatever your shoe size is in America and your clothing is for your shirt and your pants is in America is not going to be the same when you get clothes and when you get shoes over there in those locations. Respect religious and non-religious people. Common sense, do it wherever you're at. Doesn't matter where you're at. You always respect religious and non-religious people. I said it once, I say it again, stay hydrated. Israel and Egypt had the best food overall over Palestine and Jordan. Israel and Egypt, they had the best food overall. Really healthy and unhealthy food. Healthy food mostly in Israel, but mostly unhealthy food in Egypt. They eat whatever over there. Food is kind of limited in Jordan and Palestine. And when I say limited, I don't mean like, oh, they don't have any food at all. What I mean is your options are limited. That's what I mean. Do not walk around with your earbuds in or headphones in. I see people do it all the time, even over here in North America. I'll see people in cars, out on the roads, on their bicycles, walking across the street with their earbuds in and their headphones on, whilst drivers are all over the place, cars are all over the place. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, not just by what you see, by what you hear also. You especially gotta do it when you're over here at these nations. Check your surroundings before you leave an area after you sit. Don't wear hats inside of churches. There are some locations where you can wear a hat, and there are some locations where you need to have something on your head. When we were at the West Wall, over there at the Dome of the Rock in Palestine, if you was a male, you had to wear something on your head. I wore my hat. And they did have, I forgot what they called them, the little white hats that you could put on your head. They had a whole box full of them that you could pick up and put on before going down to the wall. But yeah, usually when you're going to churches, take your hat off. I know at my church, we take our hats off, but it's the same true over there for the Catholic churches and other ones too. Don't wear really valuable items. Don't go over there wearing stuff that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why would you do that? Some people do it. Why they do it, I don't know. Well, I do know, but don't do it. Don't do it. What I have to say next applies to everybody all over the planet. Pull your pants up. Don't be walking around with your pants sagging. Don't do that. Please don't do that anywhere you go. It's not a good look. And that look originated from the prisons for many reasons I don't want to get into. Just keep your pants on. People overseas don't wear deodorant, especially in Muslim nations and Islamic nations. So expect that. When you're in many crowded locations, you're going to smell arms. There's nothing you can do about it whatsoever. It's not just from the men, it's also from the females as well. So expect that. Not all of them stank, but some of them do. Some people might slap your phone or camera out of your hand. Some tried it with me, almost tried it with me, but they weren't able to succeed, but expect that. Avoid hate rallies and protest marches. We encountered one hate rally and protest march. It was, parts of it was in the trailer that you saw, but I think that was in Palestine, I believe. But avoid them at all costs if you can. Don't stay in it. You're going to sometimes be in situations where it's unavoidable. But even in those situations, just get out of there as soon as you can. Stay with your tour guide when they tell you to. They'll tell you when to take pictures. They'll tell you when to take videos. For the most part, if you ignore that, it's going to take longer for you to get through the day. Now, obviously, there are some things that you have to catch in the moment. Go for it, but don't make it a habit of constantly stopping and talking to someone and spending time over here when your tour guide and other people in your group are waiting for you to come along. It's just rude. Do not have conversations with tour guides where they're talking to you. I don't mean a back and forth. What I mean is you are talking to someone else while the tour guide is telling y'all what's going on. That's rude to do that. Don't smoke, don't get drunk or fornicate. I shouldn't have to say that, but it is what it is. Don't smoke, don't get drunk or fornicate. If you're gonna smoke, do it in private. Do not get drunk. We drank wine, but we did not drink it to get drunk. We drank a little bit of wine. And when we went back to the hotel rooms, some of the things that was on the menu was wine. But I mean just like getting drunk. You know what I mean when I mean getting drunk, like going to the club drunk. Don't do that, please. Don't fornicate for obvious reasons, especially in these nations. They don't play that. Get used to people dressing weirdly and interrupting you. And when I say weirdly, I don't mean they dress in ways that are not how you dress in your nation. Obviously, they go and dress in whatever ways they can that suits their culture. What I mean is, without getting into detail, just dressing weirdly. Get used to people dressing weirdly. There's a language barrier, obviously. Language barriers, plural, I should say. But they understand yes, and they understand no. They understand money. They understand the word money. They understand the word dollar. They understand the word cash. They understand the word debit. They understand the word card. They understand the word credit. They understand the word change. They understand the word coins, and they understand the word tip. I've already talked about how they view money. Some of them view money over there, but just know that. Bring your weapon. And when I say weapon, what I mean is bring your Bible, bring your sword, bring it with you at all times, either as a book or as your app. The Holy Bible, the Holy Word, bring that with you everywhere you go. There are going to be many times where you're going to need it, and you need it all the time. Don't blast music off your phone, off your laptop, off your tablet, whatever. Do not blast music. There is garbage almost everywhere in Palestine, Jordan, and Egypt. Get used to seeing that at certain locations. There are also a lot of homeless people that will sell you, or at least try to sell you, insignificant items and fake items at very popular places, including children. Don't buy them. They might tell you, hey, this is real, whatever. No, it's not. And the tour guides will tell you this too. Get vaccinated. When we took this trip, this was before COVID. So if you're going to travel, get vaccinated. I know that some people are against vaccinations for many reasons, which are understandable from certain perspectives. But if you're going to go to these locations and you're not vaccinated, you might come back with something that you don't need to be coming back with. Or you might be going over there with something that they don't need. Be careful with what you eat and what you drink. Have someone at home to watch everything that's in your home periodically. If you have any cats or dogs, or if you got the power turned off completely in your home, you want to have somebody checking in on your house, making sure that no one's trying to go in your house, nothing's been broken in, or that nothing has caught on fire, or no water is running, or no power is on, and stuff like that. Carry extra finances with you for any upcoming issues. I already talked about that. Always cover up your legs during important church events. There are times where you can uncover your legs, like if you're at certain beaches or when you're at certain locations where your legs can be out in the open, but important church events, just keep your legs covered. Bring your medicine with you. Any prescriptions that you have, bring it with you. Check any allergic reactions that you may have. Some of you don't know what you're allergic to, but there are many things that you can potentially be allergic to when you go over there. So check on that. Be quiet in churches. Well, yeah, be quiet in churches. I'm about to say there's some churches where you can just talk like I am, but it's just more polite to just talk very, very low or to not talk. Learn the languages if possible. If you know the Jordanian language, good. awesome. If you know the Israeli language, if you know Hebrew, awesome. If you know Egyptian, awesome. If you know Palestinian languages, awesome. Don't trust any strangers. I shouldn't have to tell you that, but I'm saying it anyway. Don't trust strangers. Just trust me, bro. Don't wear clothes with any offensive words and languages on them and images. That's common sense too. Don't cut in lines. In the trailer you saw, that was more than 4 individuals that tried to cut in line while we were in a church. And it did not turn out well for them in the end. And y'all see the in full detail in one of the videos, but don't cut in any lines. And the lines are long. There are many locations you're going to go to, but the lines are long. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm bringing this up just to help people out with what to expect when it comes to what I said earlier about payment for restrooms and bathrooms are not optional. I remember when we went to Jordan, we went to Petra. And as we were coming home from Petra, we went to a location where it was like a gift shop and they had a restroom. There was an old dude in front of the men's and the women's restroom in Jordan who was selling toilet paper and paper napkins since there wasn't any other restrooms in that area. Some people who are in those locations posing as if they work for that gift shop or whatever store you're at, some of them do not officially work for those stores. And they have toilet paper and paper napkins that they're charging you to spend money in order to use. Now, some of these people are legit. Some of them are official, and you do have to pay to get the toilet paper and paper napkins. And there are some toilets that are not normal toilets like we have over here in America or whatever location you might be if it's a first world nation. There are some toilets, not in hotels, but there are some toilets in those locations that are ground toilets. And there are some toilets where they obviously are not properly clean. Just expect that going over there, because this is basically they're not first world nations that you're going to, so you have to expect that. Don't stare. Don't stare at anybody. I think back in 2019, the gas over there was $6. I don't know how much it is now. Talking about the bus drivers over there. It's usually about $6 for a gallon of gas. Just figured I'd give that bit of information in case you want to live over in those locations. On average, the gallon of gas was like $6. I'm pretty sure it's way higher now because that was almost 5 years ago. I said this earlier, I'm just going to say it again. Keep up with your stuff. Please keep up with your stuff. Make sure the people that you're traveling with that's in your family also has kept up with their stuff too. And check over everything before you leave a hotel. Any jewelry that you brought with you, any belongings, whatever, check behind you before you go to bed. You know where everything is at before you go to sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, they're still in the same locations. Get them and go on about your way. Make sure everything that you brought in the room with you goes out with you when you leave. When it comes to leaving one hotel room to another, if you're going back to the same hotel room that same night, fine, leave the stuff there, obviously. But if you're going from one hotel to the next, that next day, take everything with you. Stay seated until told to get up when you're on rides. Well, when you're on the bus and you want to see something on this side of the bus, or you want to see someone on that side of the bus, you can get up and go over to that seat. What I mean is just walking around, standing up, doing stuff like that on the bus, like I see some people do. Don't do that. Don't do that. There are passport checkpoints at random times, not just at mandatory times, but also at random times. So expect that. Don't take any photos or videos whilst at these checkpoints. And some of the checkpoint guards can be rude at times, so expect that. I had to put up with that going to, we're at Mount Sinai. I had to deal with that. Dude was rude to me because I came in with my phone out, and then he saw my phone, and then he tried to size me up took my phone. Well, he didn't take it. I dropped it on the desk right there so he can do whatever he needed to do. He just said he wanted to see my phone, and he was a guard, so I had to do what I had to do. And he thought he had deleted the videos and the photos I had taken recently before going to that location. He didn't know I was able to recover the photos and videos until after them. But expect that. There are crazy roads. I said that already. And many of the roads have no lines and no signs. Y'all pray with me. Strep throat is almost gone, but I still got to deal with it. Jesus is healing me. Look out for ants where you stand and where you sit outside. We never had an ant problem inside any location. In Egypt, we went to a hotel where flies was all over the place. I mean, the staff had people with electronic fly swatters killing the flies. It was that bad. But look out for ants where you stand and where you sit outside. Bring an empty suitcase with you for things that you want to buy overseas. Free cold water bottles are extremely limited. Room temperature water bottles are common. Expect that. It'll be a really hot day. It'll be well over 100 degrees. And the only water that they have is room temperature. There are strong demonic principalities in these locations. There's a lack of reverence to God, to Jesus Christ, to the Holy Spirit in these locations. There's major persecution of Christians in these locations. Almost every day, there are dozens of Christians being killed. Be shrewd as vipers, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Christian. When it comes to sharing the gospel and outwardly showing that you're a Christian, don't draw attention to yourself. Please don't draw attention to yourself. I want y'all to live. I want y'all to be safe. I want y'all to survive. Know that these are locations where they hate the name of God. And you want to be wise. There are going to be opportunities over there where you can minister, where you can do ministry work. We did it while we were over there, but it's not everywhere that you went. There are going to be some people who might argue with you. Don't argue with them. Don't debate them. You hear what they have to say and you keep it going because they've already made up in their mind that they don't want anything to do with Jesus. You just pray for them that they will be able to be convicted by the Holy Spirit and that they will get a revelation and repent before their last breath. But don't go out of your way to try to win arguments with people, and don't go out of your way doing anything that's going to draw attention to you when it comes to large crowds and showing your Christian faith. I said this already. I'm going to say it again. They don't want their own money. 9 times out of 10, they don't want their own money. They want dollar bills. The American dollar bill. That's what they want mainly. There are risks involved when you buy things online and when you pay your bills online. Unfortunately, there's been cases of fraud. If you're going to pay your power bill online while you're overseas, a chance that there might be some fraudulent things going on because there are certain IP addresses over there that scammers have been able to hack. And if they can see what your debit card, credit card number informations are, social security number informations are, passport numbers, all that stuff, that can be devastating. Be wise, be careful. If you any bills you need to pay before you leave, get them all taken care of and squared away before you fly out. There is a risk of social media being blocked if you're trying to use it overseas. So expect that if you like to use the internet 24/7, you're not going to have a good time. There are traffic jams. Expect that, especially in Egypt. There's traffic jams on foot. There's traffic jams when you're going to certain events and certain locations. Many churches, you'll see them in the videos where there was traffic jams on foot. Lots of lines, lots of issues, lots of people who want to delegate, who are people of importance, and hold up everybody else's time waiting in line for hours before they can finally move forward. Just get used to that. You're going to hotel hop traveling from country to country. Expect that. You're going to be in that hotel usually on average for one day, and then you're going to go to another hotel, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. So expect that. You're hardly going to have any time to just chill and relax. That'll happen at the end of the day. What's next? Some hotels, TV networks are not in English and they're not subtitled, so expect that. There are some phone services, I said this already, that are not in English, and there are some websites that are not in English. Certain websites that you'll go to here in America or whatever location you're at, you'll go to that same website over there and it's in their languages. And you're like, what am I looking at? There are bumpy roads. Expect a lot of shaking and moving around while you're on the buses. Expect that. Expect to get wet sometimes too when you're on boats and ships. That is common. It never rained while we were over there. We were over there for 2 weeks, over 2 weeks, and it never rained, not a single day. We had some days that was cloudy, but eventually the sun came out. There was roaches on some of the tour buses and at some of the hotels that we went to. So expect that. I said this already. There's lots of flies and mosquitoes in Egypt, including on tour buses and hotels. There's lots of flies and mosquitoes almost everywhere you went. Israel was the best when it came to that issue not being there as much. But just expect that. It goes back to what we read about in the book of Exodus. So I would say that Egypt was the most stressful when it came to passports. Almost everywhere you went, they were checking for passports. Get used to that. Israel was close, but not as bad as Egypt. I understand why Israel is like that. Israel has been persecuted for millennia, so I understand why they had their passports. Make perfect sense. But Egypt was the worst. There are time change differences from nation to nation. Expect that. Horses and camels, many of them, not all of them, many of them are used for scams. Be careful. Numerous checkpoints are everywhere in Egypt. Being a camera person, I said this way earlier, but being a camera person is risky since the people don't care about harassing you or threatening you once they see you are taking videos and photos with your phone or camera. So if you're going to be a videographer on this trip, have wisdom and be careful. Don't argue with no one. Even if a guide tells you that you can take pictures and videos, still be cautious. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. I said this already. Be fast when it comes to taking your photos and videos too. There are times where you don't have to be fast, but usually you need to be fast. If you have a medical condition that impacts your movements, follow your doctor's advice, please. Do not let rude people influence and control your emotions. Otherwise, you give the rude people what they want and they can escalate it further. Racism and discrimination is common. Expect that. As a black man, going back to that guard at Mount Sinai, I had to put up with that garbage, but God kept me. And I forgive him. You don't know what he does. Take a picture of all of your stuff before you get on the plane so that you can know what you take with you and so that any non-perishable items are still with you when it's time to leave. Day after day, even when you stay at your hotels. Take pictures of all the stuff and videos of everything in the room. When you get there, you take your stuff out when it's time for you to leave the hotel. Be careful with your camera when going to Petra and Mount Sinai, since there are harassers in those locations. I mentioned Mount Sinai, but it was also like that in Petra too. Returning an item is impossible. Even if you have a receipt, returning an item is impossible. There's no Wi-Fi in the desert. Do not give your smartphone to a stranger to take your photo. Otherwise, they will either run off with it or toss it or destroy it or take your picture or video and then charge you money for your smartphone back. If you need a photo or video taken, give it to one of the people who's going on a trip with you. The police are basically nowhere in some of the tour areas. There was some guards, and I know at the West Wall, there was some infantrymen and women, but I hardly saw any policemen at many tour areas that we went to. If you touch anything, you bought it. If you look at anything long enough, the people in the store will think you want to buy it and will not stop bugging you until you leave. If someone comes up to you all up in your face and they talk to you like you're interested in buying something and you're not interested, immediately and politely decline and walk away, even if the person is still talking to you and keeps repeating over and over and over. Keep repeating the declination and walking away until the person either leaves you alone to do it to someone else, and then you can go about the rest of your day. You may even have to walk out of the store. You may have to just get up and just go. Just get up and go. I said this already. Keep your hands in your pockets around people on the streets who are selling items, and don't let anyone place anything on you or touch you. They will do it. I had one person while I was in Egypt at the pyramids and the Sphinx. He put a hat on top of me. I had to tell him over, I think 8 times to take the hat off my head. He did it eventually, but he just did not want to do it after I told him the first time, or the second, or the fourth, or the 6th. There's no laundromats except for some of the hotels. If you're going to bring clothes with you, don't bring too much with you. I would say bring about 3 outfits. About 3 outfits bring with you. Don't bring a whole bunch of clothes. If you're going to be over there for like 14 days, do not bring 3 different outfits for each one of those 14 days, because you're going to have to carry all that. Everything that you take with you, you got to carry with you. Just know that. You do have to pay to use Wi-Fi in some of the Egyptians' hotels. So otherwise, you'll have to use the Wi-Fi in the hotel lobby, which is slow, like slower than dial-up slow, for those of you who've been around long enough to know how slow dial-up internet was. And yeah, pretty much overall, it's a blessed trip. I know there's a lot of things I said in there that make you sound like, I don't know about that, Justin. But yes, ultimately, it was a blessing going on the trip. And I was really amazed at many of the things I saw, the things I was able to experience and be a part of with other people. And I became a changed man after that trip, during that trip as well. I'm not the same person I was before going on that trip. I was blessed. I was anointed. I was prophesied to. I did ministry work. People did ministry work with me, around me. And I just grew as a person and was able to see so many things, places, and people. And I highly recommend going on the trips. Prophet Peter Kumar and his team, I think they're going maybe next year. I'm not sure. In 2024. I would recommend waiting until everything with Hamas calms down. If they do, I don't know what's going to happen down the road. I know that Jesus' return is very soon. It's one of the reasons why I had to rush to get this video out. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching the trailer, watching this video, and also watching the videos that I made of the entire trip. And take your time with them. Don't rush them. This is going to take days, weeks, months, years to watch through all these videos. And I'm just glad to put them out there. And to my mother, my sister, my dad, Prophet Peter, his wife Gita, the people we went on the trip with, and to the people who've been asking about the trip, Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope y'all enjoy. And going into 2024, looking forward to great things that God is going to do for all of us and the prophetic events that's going to take place moving forward. And I pray that all of you have a blessed Christmas, a blessed upcoming new year. And I love all of you, and y'all stay safe out there.